Well, hello, Wrap Shop Garage fans. Got something a little different today. This is one of our customers, MT Towing. He sold this truck to another towing company here in Milwaukee. We are going to take the new guy's logo and print a new background for here, or install his logo over the top of the background and do a reprint for the door. And we're also going to probably end up unwrapping the hood and rewrapping the hood with his new logo. Trying to save a little bit of money, but he's not necessarily sure that he wants to spend to rewrap the hood, or if we're just going to pull it off and put a just his logo on the hood. But we're definitely going to probably just cover the doors rather than do a rewrap. But I'm going to give the customer some options, and he can kind of choose what he wants to do. So that's what we got for you today. All right, I got a couple changes to make from the customer. I sent them a couple things to approve. So I'm going to run in and we're going to do some work in FlexiSign and then get back out here and start removing the hood and a couple other decals. We're going to do a cover up on the door, remove the hood and rewrap the hood, and add a wrap to the back of the headache rack. So let's go in and get going on FlexiSign.
Okay, here we are in Flexi. I'm going to do a little work here on the headache rack, and ultimately we didn't even use the design that I'm first drawing up here. Now I'm going to drop the logo on the hood, and again we didn't ultimately end up using this either. We used just the logo without the blue and purple rings. The customer wanted those eliminated. I did kind of like the rings, but I agree with the customer that it was distracting from the logo. And I just used this background for layout. I ended up going back into Photoshop and reconfiguring because I ended up stretching the honeycombs, and that didn't look good. So I went back into Photoshop, kind of redrew it, and ultimately brought it back in for the final. You can see they're a little vertically stretched there. This is more of the final layout. You can see the rings are gone. And this is what we were going to do on the side doors. We were going to do a cover-up piece to try and save the customer a little bit of money, but ultimately he ended up deciding with rewrapping the two doors, the hood, and then adding the headache rack, which was the right choice. But we could have done it cheaper with just covering up, but the customer decided to do the right thing. So here I'm just getting the door laid out, trying to get the logo placed. Just getting everything situated before going to print. Making sure everything's aligned. Looking at the pattern that's on the door currently so that this one lines up. We can't adjust the logo once it's printed. Obviously it's printed into the piece.
Okay, let's get going on this removal of this hood. The ideal way to do this hood would be out in the sun, but we do not have any sunlight today. It is cloudy and overcast. And that should do it for the hood. There you have it. One hood wrap removed. Kobe. It's good. Okay. Got a few graphics to move off the side, just an LC DOT number, and then we're going to go in and get some of this printing. So you'll see I'm a little bit short right here. For some reason, when I masked the print, it slid over a little bit and slid back. So I am printing a fill-in piece for this. It's not ideal. It'll be fine. Nobody will ever see it, but stuff happens, you know? Stuff happens all the time on wraps that when you're watching all these videos of these wrappers that they don't tell you about, I'm telling you about them. If it was gonna look terrible, I would reprint this piece, but it's not gonna look terrible. You're gonna have to be looking for the seam to see it.
When I'm doing this back and forth, I'm really only using about 1 inch of my squeegee that's laying down the fresh material. So I'm cutting it in very slowly, just dispersing to the sides. If I get something like this, I just work it out with my finger. So what I'm looking for now is there's a body line here. I don't want to go over the body line. I want to lay it into the body line. I tell you, that compressor, I must have a leak somewhere because it shouldn't be coming on that much. So I'm doing this. I don't want to spread the seam. I want to lay it into the body line. Seam, body line. Because if I go over it and then heat it in, it's just a failure point that we don't need. Again, same thing here. I'm gonna lay it into the roll. Just catching the high edge here. Oh, compressor's off. I'm just gonna keep working that edge off to the sides. If I start just going down with it, your vinyl is just gonna kind of crinkle to the center if you don't keep spreading it out. So I'll take a little bit out of the middle here and then take it out to the sides. Now on this, there's a texture paint underneath here for chipping, so I'm not wrapping this all the way under. It's black anyways, so I'm gonna give myself a nice line here and cut it. We didn't, on the previous wrap we did the same thing, so there's no reason to go all the way down. If it was white or something, then yeah, we'd have to wrap the bottom of the door. That's all there is to it. So now this door handle, I'll heat into place and get it tucked in nice and deep. I'll keep relieving it here. Allow it to lay in. Try not to stretch it in. I just want it to nicely lay in place. Then when I go cut, I'm going to cut right on the edge of the plastic. Not pressing deep, I'm just kind of running it along the plastic of the handle. Last thing I want to do here is cut the paint. Not that you'll ever see it, but then it causes potential for places for it to rust. Even though this is aluminum, we're not going to rust, but it's just a good habit to have. Don't cut paint. I'm going to kind of come along, just get this in here. My blade away. So I shouldn't say first, but one of the Explorers that we were wrapping, we wrap a lot of doors on Explorers. I went to do just like a Chevy, take the handle out. There's a screw here and releases the handle, pull it out. Well, it didn't work like that in the Explorer, and tried YouTubing, nothing. And I ended up dropping the nut. The whole thing came apart. But thank God I work with a lot of dealerships, and there's one in general that's willing to help me out. So I had to send a tech out here and help me put that, figure that whole door and put it back together. And what a mess. So I don't pull any Explorer handles anymore. On the cop cars, it's almost better to not have a vinyl behind the handle, because then you're scratching it. So we leave it black. Okay, back here I'm trimming on the back side of the seam, so I have some to wrap around the door edge. So that'll give me some to come around. Not a bad match, considering this is a couple years old. And that's a wrap on this Wrap Junk Pros. Done. Had to replace the doors with the new name, replaced the hood with the new name, and then we added to the headache rack and changed over to this customer's DOT RST numbers. And that's it for this thing. So until next time, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tag. That really helps this channel. I appreciate it. Thank you.